Hello, friends, and thank you for supporting This Day in Jack Benny. On these bonus Patreon episodes, I like to bring something rare and unusual, and this is up there. A children's record, with Dennis Day as the narrator on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. If you listen carefully, you might recognize some of the voices. Eileen Woods plays Snow White, but she's better known for playing a different Disney princess. She's the voice of Cinderella. The evil queen is played by Eleanor Hodley. She's better known for playing a different Disney villain, Maleficent. And of course, you'll recognize the narrator, Dennis Day. So first we'll hear Dennis Day in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs from 1949. Then Snow White and Sneezy, the sequel from 1952. And finally, Snow White and Dopey, also from 1952. Now, we all know that in the movie, Dopey doesn't talk.
You mean he can't talk?
He don't know. He never tried.
But if you've ever wondered what he might sound like if he did talk, you'll find out on this record. So gather the children and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. This is Dennis Day. Want to hear about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Good. That's Nipper. Every time Nipper barks, you turn the page in your storybook, read on, or look at the pictures. Ready? Once there lived a little princess named Snow White. The wicked queen was jealous of her beauty and dressed Snow White in rags. Snow White was happy, nevertheless. One day as she fetched water from the well, she sang a song.
I'm wishing for the one I love to find me today. I'm hoping and I'm dreaming of the nice thing he'll say.
Just then, a young prince rode by. Enchanted by Snow White's beauty, he tried to talk to her, but she shyly ran into the castle. As Snow White daydreamed of this handsome prince and hoped he would come back someday, the wicked queen stood before a magic mirror in her chambers.
Slave in the mirror, let me see thy face.
What wouldst thou know, my queen?
Slave in the magic mirror on the wall, tell me, who is the fairest one of all?
Famed is thy beauty, majesty, but hold, a lovely maid I see. Alas, she is more fair than thee, and her name is Snow White.
Snow White more beautiful than I? No one in the world can be more beautiful than I. Huntsman! Huntsman! Take Snow White into the forest and lose her there, so she will perish. Then I alone will be the fairest in the land.
The huntsman did as he was commanded, and poor Snow White soon found herself alone in the dark and brooding forest. All around her, the giant trees cast their terrifying shadows. And behind the trees, who were those frightening creatures behind the trees?
Oh, only little baby birds. And squirrels. And bunnies. And they're all so friendly. Oh, I'm not afraid anymore.
With a smile and a song, life is just like a bright sunny day. Your cares fade away, and your heart is young. When you smile and you sing, everything is in tune and it's spring and life flows along with a smile and a song.
Snow White needed a home, so the birds and the squirrels and the bunnies and all the other animals took her to a little house in the middle of the forest.
The house is empty. I wonder who lives here. Oh, look. 7 little chairs around a table piled high with breakfast dishes. This must be the home of 7 untidy children. I look at the cobwebs and dust. Come on, everyone, let's clean. Just whistle while you work. And cheerfully together we can tidy up the place. So hum a merry tune. It won't take long when there's a song to help you set the pace. And as you sweep the room, imagine that the broom is someone that you love, and soon you'll find you're dancing to the tune. So whistle while you work. When hearts are high, the time will fly, so whistle while you work.
Soon the house was clean and bright, and Snow White became very tired. The animals tiptoed out and she fell asleep. All of a sudden, there was a tramp of feet outside the house and the sound of voices singing happily.
Hi-ho, it's home from work we go. Hi-ho, 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 it's home from work we go. Hi-ho, hi-ho.
They were the 7 little dwarfs home from working in the mine. Doc, Happy, Grumpy, Sneezy, Bashful, Sleepy, and Dopey. When Snow White woke up, she was very surprised to see them, for they weren't children at all, but little men. Snow White told them about the wicked queen and asked if she could stay with them.
Can you make dapple lumpkins? Lumpkin dapplins?
He means apple dumplings.
Why, yes, and plum pudding, too.
That settles it. She stays.
Hooray!
All the dwarfs were pleased with Snow White. All but Grumpy. Grumpy wasn't a bad sort. He just didn't like women.
All females is poison. Give 'em an inch and they walk all over you.
But Snow White was always sweet to him, as she was to all the dwarfs. And when her housework was done, she'd tell them stories and sing them songs. Sing us a pretty song. A love song.
Someday my prince will come. Someday we'll meet again, and away to his castle we'll go, to be happy forever and know. Someday when spring is here, we'll find our love anew, and the birds will sing, and wedding bells will ring. Someday when my dreams come true.
And every morning when the dwarfs went off to work, Snow White kissed each one goodbye. Doc, Happy, Sneezy, Bashful, Sleepy, Dopey, even Grumpy. Back at the castle, the wicked queen was very pleased, for she believed that Snow White had perished in the forest. Once more, she stood before the magic mirror.
Slave in the magic mirror. Now, who is the fairest of them all?
Snow White still lives, my queen. In the cottage of the 7 dwarfs, Snow White still is the fairest of them all.
Then I will go there and do away with her myself. I will disguise myself so that Snow White will not know who I am. I will give her my poison apple. One bite, and she will sleep forever. Then in all the land, I will be the fairest of them all.
The wicked queen drank a goblet of witch's brew and immediately changed into an ugly old woman in a black cloak. Then she set out for the house of the 7 dwarfs. Snow White was alone in the kitchen, save for the birds, the squirrels, and the bunnies. Suddenly, an ugly old woman in a black cloak appeared at the door.
Oh, please, I'm so tired. May I sit down in your house?
Why, yes, do come in.
Thank you. Because you're so good to me, I have something for you. This magic wishing apple. One bite and all your dreams will come true. Come, bite.
Oh, it tastes so... Oh, I'm growing faint.
She will sleep forever. Only love's first kiss can wake her up. But what Prince Charming will kiss her now? At last, I am the fairest in the land.
Alas, Snow White was in a deep sleep, while the wicked queen, disguised as an old hag in a black cloak, cackled with joy. But the birds, the squirrels, and the bunnies knew that something terrible had happened. They rushed from the house to the mine where the 7 dwarfs were digging. At first, the dwarfs didn't understand.
Go on, get out of here. They've gone daffy. Gone daffy.
But then, the dwarfs too knew that their beloved Snow White was in danger. Back to the house they ran, just as the wicked queen was about to leave.
There she goes! After her!
Up the side of the mountain ran the wicked queen, and right behind her ran the 7 dwarfs. Doc, Happy, Sneezy, Bashful, Sleepy, Dopey, and especially... Grumpy. For though he tried to hide it, Grumpy loved Snow White very much. The 7 dwarfs chased the wicked queen to the top of the mountain. Trying to escape, she slipped and fell. Down, 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 down into the churning sea. Where she disappeared forever. Poor Snow White. She would sleep forever. Only love's first kiss could wake her up. The 7 dwarfs and all the animals in the forest gathered around her and wept. But then, as they bent over in mourning, they heard a voice. A young prince astride a white horse rode through the forest, singing. One song, I have but one song. One song only for you. One song my heart keeps singing. Of one love only for you. This was the same young prince who long ago had seen Snow White before the wishing well. He had fallen in love with her at once, and he had searched for her ever since. The young prince looked into her sleeping face, bent over, and kissed her. It was love's first kiss, the very thing the wicked queen had feared, for the poison apple no longer had any power, and Snow White awakened.
Oh, my prince. When I first made a wish at the wishing well, I hoped that someone like you would love me.
The prince lifted Snow White onto his horse and slowly rode away.
Goodbye, everybody.
And he took her to his own sun-bright castle, where they lived happily ever after. And that is the story of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs.
Hello, this is Dennis Day. Remember the story of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs? Remember how those lovable little fellows saved Snow White's life? Let's see, their names were Doc, Happy, Bashful, Dopey, Grumpy, Sleepy, and Sneezy. Well, now I'm going to tell you a story that is mostly about Snow White and Sneezy.
Oh, a cow goes moo, but I go ka-choo. I'm Sneezy. And an owl goes ooh, but I go ka-choo. I'm Sneezy. A train goes clickety-clack, and a duck goes quackety-quack. But I just go ka-choo, 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 ka-choo. I'm Sneezy.
One day, Snow White, who was now married to the handsome prince, came to visit her friends, the dwarfs.
Let's play a game, everybody. Each of you do a special trick.
That's a good idea.
So each of the dwarfs did a special trick, and even Bashful was not bashful at all. Ha ha, not me. Meanwhile, the wicked queen in her own castle was standing in front of her magic mirror.
Slave in the mirror, come here.
What do you wish, my queen?
Revenge on the 7 dwarfs for saving Snow White's life. For while she lives, I am not the fairest in the land.
The dwarf Sneezy owns a most marvelous sneeze. Steal it from him and you will have your revenge.
But how do I steal this marvelous sneeze?
Place 5 grains of charmed rice inside a golden pepper shaker. When Sneezy next ka-choos, the charmed rice will attract the sneeze like a magnet and hold it forever inside the pepper shaker.
The wicked queen placed the charmed rice inside the golden pepper shaker. Then, disguised with a coal black wig, she ran to the dwarf's house and hid outside the window. The game was almost over. Happy imitated a merry laugh bird. Dopey danced a jig with his eyes shut and fell over a chair.
Oh, Dopey.
Finally, it was Sneezy's turn.
Listen, everybody, a special sneeze.
As the sneeze left Sneezy, it flew across the room. And then, attracted by the 5 grains of charmed rice, it went straight out the window and into the golden pepper shaker. The wicked queen snapped the lid tight and laughed with glee.
Now let's see how Sneezy gets along without his marvelous sneeze.
Inside the house, nobody yet knew what had happened.
Sneezy, that was a wonderful sneeze. Do it again.
Of course, my dear. Listen.
What's the matter?
Oh, my sneeze. It's gone.
Woo!
The dwarfs ran around wildly looking for the sneeze. Doc ran to the window and opened it. Maybe it's outside, he cried. But there was no sneeze outside. As they looked out, the perfume of the flowers tickling their noses made everybody sneeze. Doc, Happy, Bashful, Dopey, Grumpy, and Sleepy. Everybody, that is, except poor Sneezy. For Sneezy's wonderful sneeze was gone. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs ran to the palace to tell the prince. "Line up, my subjects," ordered the prince. "We'll find that marvelous sneeze if we have to examine everyone in the kingdom." One by one, everybody came up and sneezed. The lion sneezed a loud sneeze.
Now hear this.
But it wasn't Sneezy's. The kitten sneezed a soft sneeze.
Ready, everybody?
But it wasn't Sneezy's. The rabbit sneezed a pink sneeze. The crocodile sneezed a green sneeze. The giraffe sneezed a high sneeze. The mouse sneezed a low sneeze.
Thank you.
But nobody had Sneezy's sneeze. Poor Sneezy. He was very, very sad, and everybody was worried about him. Doc, Happy, Bashful, Dopey, Grumpy, Sleepy, and especially Snow White. But where was the sneeze? Finally, the prince sent for the wise men. "Tell me, wise men, where could a sneeze be hidden?" "Oh, Prince," they said, "a sneeze could be kept alive in a golden pepper shaker, and 5 grains of charm rice could keep it from falling out." As the prince sent his soldiers to search every house, the wicked queen again stood before the mirror.
Slave in the mirror, have they given up the search?
No, my queen, they are opening every pepper shaker in the kingdom, and even now are coming here.
Then I must disguise myself and hide in the abandoned house at the edge of the forest.
Snow White, the prince, and the 7 dwarfs searched in vain, and as darkness came, they found themselves at the edge of the forest. Suddenly, a storm blew up, lightning flashed, and lit up the forest as bright as day.
Look, a little house.
Inside was a woman with coal black hair. "Give me your pepper shaker," said the prince.
Pepper shaker? I have none.
Then, to everyone's surprise, there was a strange noise.
That sounds like my sneeze.
The woman ran to the cupboard and seized the pepper shaker.
No, please don't break it.
Snow White grabbed the pepper shaker out of the woman's hand. Quickly she opened it, and one by one, the 5 grains of charm rice fell to the floor. And from out of the pepper shaker, rising like smoke, flew the long-lost sneeze, right into Sneezy's nose. At last, Sneezy had his sneeze back. He was overjoyed. The last sneeze blew the wig off the woman's head. She stood revealed.
Look, it's the wicked queen.
The wicked queen ran away and out of sight. Snow White knew she would not trouble them for a long time. All were very happy. Doc, Happy, Bashful, Dopey, Grumpy, Sleepy, and especially Sneezy.
Achoo! Oh, a cow goes moo, but I go ka-choo. I'm Sneezy. And an owl goes ooh, but I go ka-choo. I'm Sneezy. A train goes clickety-clack, and a duck goes quackety-quack. But I just go ka-choo, 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 ka-choo. I'm Sneezy.
And that's the story of Snow White and Sneezy. You'll want to hear another exciting story about Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs on another RCA Victor record. It's called Snow White and Dopey. You'll love it. Hello, this is Dennis Day, and with me there are Doc, Happy, Sneezy, Bashful, Grumpy, Sleepy, and especially Dopey. You all know the story of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Well, now I'm going to tell you the story of Snow White and Dopey.
I don't know very much arithmetic and such. That's why they call me Dopey. I can't tell left from right, I guess I'm just not bright. That's why they call me Dopey.
Well, Dopey wasn't very bright. One day he poured sugar on the roses to make them smell sweeter. Happy thought this was very funny. Did you see that? But Grumpy was angry.
Bah! What a dumb thing to do! He should be spanked!
Before going to bed, Dopey sewed all his clothes together so he could dress himself faster in the morning.
Now he can't get dressed at all.
Bah! He ought to go without his supper.
With the prince away on a trip, Snow White paid a visit to the dwarfs. Dopey was standing over the stove with a frying pan on his head. And where was his hat? It was on the stove, and he was trying to fry an egg in it.
Oh, Dopey, really?
What a cook! Bah, what are we going to do with him?
I know. I'm going to teach him myself.
And so the lessons began. First, Snow White told him the days of the week.
Now, repeat after me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, I know. Saturday, Wednesday, Monday, and then comes Christmas.
Oh, Dopey.
Meanwhile, the Wicked Queen was still plotting revenge against Snow White for being the fairest in the land. She stood before the magic mirror.
Slave in the mirror, what shall I do?
You must entice Snow White here to your castle.
But how?
The dwarf Dopey is very simple-minded. Through him you can capture Snow White.
Later that day, the Wicked Queen hid behind a tree and watched Snow White teach Dopey.
Now, Dopey, you'll learn left from right. Walk to the gate and turn right.
I'll try.
But Dopey, all mixed up, turned left instead, out of sight of Snow White, and stopped right in front of the Wicked Queen.
Dopey, I have become a good queen, and to prove it, here is a juicy jingleberry.
A jingleberry?
It's magic. When you drop the seed, it falls to the ground with a jingle, like this.
Ooh.
And then, from the jingleberry seed, the jingleberry bush springs up instantly, as high as your chin, like this.
Oh, how wonderful!
Now, go to Snow White and tell her that you can lead her to the garden of enchanted fruit.
Not knowing any better, Dopey did as the Queen told him. Snow White, eager to eat the enchanted fruit, followed him right into the arms of the Wicked Queen.
Help! Help!
She pushed Snow White and Dopey into her carriage and drove away like the wind. The Wicked Queen threw Snow White and Dopey into a dungeon.
Now, with Snow White hidden away forever, I will be the fairest in the land.
The dungeon had one small window with iron bars. Through it, Snow White could see the enchanted garden where the jingleberries grew.
Dopey,
Yes, Snow White.
you're small enough to wriggle through the bars. Escape and tell the other dwarfs where I am.
But, gosh, by the time I reach the other dwarfs, maybe I'll forget where you are.
Well, pick some jingleberries and show them to the dwarfs. Then they'll be able to find this enchanted garden and my dungeon nearby.
Dopey did as he was told, but instead of saving the jingleberries to show to the dwarfs, he ate up every one on the way.
Oh, that Dopey. Now we'll never find Snow White. Wait a minute. What are those bushes growing up yonder? Do you know, Doc?
They're jingleberry bushes. Now I remember. I ate the jingleberries and I dropped the seeds. Yes, each seed sprouts a new jingleberry bush. That means we have a trail right back to Snow White.
Off ran the 7 dwarfs to rescue Snow White. But in the meantime...
Slave in the magic mirror, with Snow White in the dungeon, now am I not the fairest in the land?
The dwarfs are coming this way to rescue her. Quickly hide her in the underground cave.
As the Wicked Queen ran to the underground cave, the 7 dwarfs continued to follow the trail of the jingleberry bushes. Suddenly, the trail ended.
Which way now, Dopey? Left or right? We go right, Doc.
Now, Dopey, in his own mind, didn't know left from right. And when he said right, he really meant left. But the 7 dwarfs went right, of course. And since Dopey didn't know the difference anyway, he went along too. Then suddenly...
Say, look, there's a cave. Dopey, is Snow White held in a cave? I don't know, Doc. Well, let's go in and find out.
When the wicked queen saw the 7 dwarfs enter the cave, she screamed and ran away. Snow White was saved.
Oh, Dopey, I knew you'd save me.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, Dopey saved Snow White by being, well, Dopey. He ate the jingleberries, but he left a trail. He didn't know left from right, but he led the dwarfs to the cave. He was a hero to everyone. Doc, Happy, Sneezy, Bashful, Grumpy, Sleepy, and especially Snow White. And all the way back to the house where the 7 dwarfs lived, Dopey sang.
I don't know very much arithmetic and such. That's why they call me Dopey. I can't tell left from right, I guess I'm just not bright. That's why they call me Dopey.
Dopey, you're smart enough for me.
And that's the story of Snow White and Dopey. You'll want to hear another story about Snow White and the 7 dwarfs on another RCA Victor record. It's called Snow White and Sneezy. You'll love it.